I bring you warm greetings and salutations on Everyone Deserves a Home radio program, coming to you live from the network studios of Radio Nigeria. My name is Jomiah, your host. The program Everyone Deserves a Home is a flagship program of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, that keeps you up to speed with updates and developments as they unfold. It also provides expert information on affordable home ownership through innovative products and services of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. On our lineup today, we shall open with FMBN on the news. This will then be followed by our exclusive interview segment, and later on, we shall wrap up with a special commentary. But all these and so much more will come after this short break. Please stay tuned.
What's happening here?
Ask your friend. The landlord just left here threatening fire and brimstone over rent.
Oh no. The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has put in place a process of assisting Nigerian workers to own their own houses without tears through the National Housing Fund mortgage loans.
Without tears?
Yes. All you need to do is register and contribute 2.5% of your salary to the National Housing Fund for 6 months if you're a salaried worker and 1 year if you're self-employed. Then you're qualified to apply for a mortgage loan.
Are you saying a self-employed person like me can obtain a mortgage loan from Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to buy a house?
Absolutely. As a contributor, all you need to do is identify a property with relevant title documents and approach an accredited primary mortgage bank that will help you package the loan and submit to Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria.
Really?
Yes. Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria have estates they have financed all over the country, which interested contributors can key into.
Where are you going to?
We are going to a primary mortgage bank right away.
For more information, please visit our website www.fmbn.gov.ng. You can also visit any of our field offices nationwide or call
090-3633-2566.
This message is from the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria.
My name is Shehu Usman Osidi, the Managing Director, Chief Executive, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Keep listening to Everyone Deserves a Home on radio and on TV on Thursdays at 8:05 p.m. on Saturdays at 7 p.m.
Welcome back to Everyone Deserves a Home radio broadcast, powered by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, under the able leadership of Mr. Shehu Usman Osidi, Managing Director and Chief Executive. Now standing by with FMBN on the news is Amina Jibril. Hello, Amina.
Thank you, Jomiah. Hello, listener. Good evening and a warm welcome to FMBN on the news. First, the headlines. FMBN launches people-centered mortgage for low-income earners. Minister of Housing hails President Tinubu's leadership at 74, commends reform agenda in housing. Second FMBN partner on non-interest mortgage framework. Now the news in detail. The Managing Director of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, Shehu Usman Osidi, has said that a major shift is underway to make home ownership more accessible to ordinary Nigerians. Osidi, while speaking in an interview with the National Daily, revealed that the bank is transforming into a people-focused institution, introducing flexible mortgage options targeted at low and middle-income earners. While declaring that the era of inaccessible mortgages giving way to a more inclusive system aimed at expanding home ownership, he listed key initiatives to include rent-to-own, home renovation loan, rent assistance, non-interest mortgages, and a diaspora mortgage scheme. According to him, over 24,000 Nigerians have already accessed renovation loans worth more than 21 billion naira, while the rent-to-own scheme is helping families move into homes without upfront payment. Osidi also disclosed that the bank financed nearly 7,000 housing units in 2025, a sharp increase from just over 2,000 units recorded in 2024. Noting that affordability remains a major challenge. Despite rising inflation, Osidi maintained that FMBN mortgages remain among the most affordable, with single-digit interest rates and flexible repayment plans, adding that beneficiaries now include teachers, civil servants, artisans, and small business owners. While addressing criticisms that mortgage financing primarily benefits the elite, he insisted that the bank's interventions are reaching the grassroots and, however, expressed optimism that ongoing reforms and a planned recapitalization drive will further expand access to housing, stressing that owning a home in Nigeria is gradually becoming a realistic goal for many citizens. The Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, has applauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for what he described as bold and decisive leadership in steering Nigeria through a period of reforms and national renewal. This was contained in the minister's birthday goodwill message to the president on the occasion of his 74th birthday celebration. In a statement signed by the minister, Dangiwa joined other Nigerians in celebrating President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, stating that the occasion provided an opportunity to assess what he called as the president's transformative leadership and ongoing efforts to reposition the nation. He noted that the Tinubu's administration has shown resolve in implementing difficult but necessary reforms aimed at stabilizing the economy, strengthening governance, and placing the country on a more sustainable development path. According to him, the Renewed Hope agenda continues to serve as a guiding framework for national renewal, with visible steps being taken to build a more resilient, competitive, and forward-looking Nigeria. While wishing the president well in his new age, Dangiwa further commended the president for his courage in driving reforms in the nation's housing sector, his belief in the Nigeria project, and his commitment to securing a better future for all citizens. And as part of efforts in addressing the nation's housing deficit and deepen financial inclusion, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, have announced a strategic partnership to develop a non-interest mortgage system in the country. The agreement was reached at a high-level meeting held in Abuja, and the collaboration aims to expand access to affordable housing and promote financial inclusion, especially for Nigerians who do not use conventional interest-based loans. Under the initiative, both institutions will work together to design and regulate non-interest mortgage products that will enable more Nigerians to own homes. Experts say this move could be a game-changer as it addresses key barriers such as affordability and the need for religiously compliant financing options. The partnership is also expected to open up new opportunities in the housing sector and deepen participation in the mortgage market. And that's it on the news update. I am Amina Jibril, and it's now back to you, Jeremiah.
Thank you very much, Amina. And next is our special interview corner, but we will take a breather. The program will be back in a jiffy.
Wetin dey happen for you?
Our landlord just waka comot for here and now with plenty kasala on top house rent matter. Me I don tire.
Wait, una see the parent? Una never hear say the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria don put for ground the National Housing Fund mortgage loan for workers dem to take get loan for their own house, and this loan e no get wahala o.
Loan without wahala ke? Impossible.
See you, e dey possible. Make you just register and contribute 2.5% of your salary to the National Housing Fund for 6 months if you dey collect salary, and 1 year if you dey work for yourself. You don qualify for the mortgage loan be that o.
You mean say me like this we get my own business, market woman and farmer dem fit get loan from Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria take buy house?
Bam! As you be contributor so now to just point your finger to the house when get correct paper, then alele to any primary mortgage bank when they are accredited to help you package the loan and submit them to Federal Mortgage Bank. Sure, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria get estate for everywhere for we country. You when be contributor fit go see am with your korokoro eye and choose one. Point and kill.
For more tori, make you visit the website www.fmbn.gov.ng. You fit go to any of our offices nationwide or green
090-3633-2566.
Now Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria they bring on this story.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Everyone Deserves a Home, broadcasting live from the network studios of Radio Nigeria. Today on our exclusive interview segment, we shall bring you the concluding part of our conversation with the group head, National Housing Fund Group of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Please sit back and relax as the journey to your own front door starts here. Let's join the conversation.
Is the FMBN receiving enough NHF contributions capable of addressing the housing challenges in the country? And what are the challenges? And what is the bank doing to address such challenges?
Yeah, I will easily say we are not receiving enough. Is there room for improvement? Yes. Are there challenges that are making it difficult for us to receive as much as we desired? Yes. Right. If you model this around financial intermediation, I keep saying that we are a bank. Right. What does a bank do as an intermediary? The bank, standing as an intermediary, pick from the surplus end, they lend to the deficit end. That's what a bank does. So where is the surplus end? Where you have those deposits coming in. Where is the deficit end? Where you have those making demands, for loans, or financial services. Now, for us, our core interest in the National Housing Fund to see that this fund is on a constant growth trajectory. There should be a growth on this fund. And once we see and we continue to see growth on this fund, the other side means that we should be able to do more in terms of mortgages to deliver on home ownership. But it's important to put out those bottlenecks. When you say mortgages, right? Mortgages are built around properties, around houses. And you know that these houses are not built in a vacuum. You need a land to build these houses. And, matters around land across the states, because each state has its own jurisdiction in terms of land administration, right? Sometimes could become problematic on the journey of home ownership. You have things around perfection, and the cost of doing these things are sometimes become outrageous, right? And it becomes a problem for the individual that wants home ownership. So when you say mortgage, there are other things you need to consider around mortgage. What is the state of the land? What is the state of perfection of the land? What's the state of the title, right? That is one aspect. Then there are other challenges from those who are part of the ecosystem, what you may call developers who are developing these housing units or housing stocks. Sometimes they come on the grounds that the cost of getting the land to build upon is so high, where you begin to see those costs being transferred to the individual, potential individual off-taker, right? And it becomes, so much for the individual to deal with. Again, looking at the realities of today, the cost of building materials and other associated costs that drive home ownership, right? Looking at what we are doing in terms of to what extent we can finance for home ownership, you begin to see that there's a big gap, right, to what you could deploy to have a very comfortable accommodation vis-a-vis what the income of these off-takers or these contributors look like. So there are bottlenecks, but despite these bottlenecks, despite these challenges, we are finding way to move around this. And at the heart of what we do in Federal Mortgage Bank still remains affordable housing financing solutions. So in terms of affordability, which is key, in terms of accessibility, and the level of infrastructure that would support such home ownership could become a challenge, right? Because there are some areas you go to, it will require the strength of the state government to be able to provide the primary infrastructure, to be able to give access to such, sites where housing stores could be delivered. And some of these things are not easy to come by. And if you look at it, where you have private real estate developers drive this process of putting those infrastructure in place or putting some of these things that the government will be able to put in place, it will at the end of the day shoot up the prices of these housing units. And some instances it goes beyond the average contributor to this fund. But the bank, notwithstanding, like I said, we are trying to look at all these things constructively to see, having it at the back of our mind that we have to protect that affordability mantra around what we do, because if it's not affordable, the whole essence will be defeated. It becomes difficult for these, especially within the public sector workers, to have access to. But beyond home ownership, there are other products they can take advantage of at retail level. I think I mentioned somewhere what you call home renovation loan. Home renovation loan is pegged at 1 million. The realities today somehow is encouraging us to move it up beyond 1 million. And we've seen a whole lot of impacts across the public service, strata
or what you call civil service strata in terms of those who have accessed this loan. The bottlenecks around it or the challenge around it is not as big as what you see in terms of home ownership. But again, we've equally seen a whole lot of non-performing numbers around the loans, right, in terms of people not paying back. And you know how this public sector engagement can be. But despite that, again, we are doing the best we can to ensure that we serve our customers, because customer service or customer fulfillment is key in what we do. Otherwise, the fund will dry up. We will not see contributions coming in.
Thank you very much. You talked about customers, you talked about the private sector, you talked about the informal sector, you talked about government workers and all of that. Now, can a typical taxi driver or a welder be part of the National Housing Fund scheme and also access some of the products and services of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria?
Yes, they can. They can. In fact, the fund did not separate. They say as long as you're a Nigerian worker, you have means of survival in terms of you are productively engaged, you have what it takes to access the fund. So for drivers, for what you may classify as informal kind of work engagements, yes, they are part of the scheme. In fact, as it stands today, the bank, because the whole idea is that we are serving a market. And what the market listens to, what the market gets excited about is the kind of product or service, one, and their execution capacity. You must be very good in execution. And any business setup, whether business sponsored by government or business sponsored by business people, once you have the right product and your execution capacity is strong, market will definitely reward you. Market will answer you. So for this category of people you just mentioned, what you may classify as informal, obviously this scheme is for them. Every business is taking something of value from the informal sector. And our own case will not be different. At the Federal Mortgage Bank, using the National Housing Fund, we are ready to pick what belongs to us from the informal sector market. Right? So we are just at the point of fine-tuning what you call product market fit. A product that will fit that market, and again, rejig our execution capacity to ensure that we have this. It's a very huge market. It's a very huge market. I mean, we've seen it play out in other businesses and other sectors, the kind of value they have found in that market. So they are part of the scheme. Maybe within or before the end of second quarter of this year, we should be able to have, we've been there before, but we noted that the product we had, again, it didn't properly suit the market. So we went back again to the drawing board to see how we can rejig, and looking at, the realities of today again, the transformations around what is playing out today in terms of, digital transformation, as a matter of fact, to see how we can be able to strengthen that market, ensure that whatever we give out in terms of loan, come back to the bank, and because that is the full cycle of financial intermediation. It's not about giving out loans, but it's about making sure that what you're giving out comes back to you. Otherwise, you turn to become a Father Christmas. Yeah.
Okay, so with the current turnaround time in FMBN's services, how easy is it for an eligible retiree to get refunds?
Yeah, very. I'm happy you say with the current turnaround time in FMBN. Prior to this time, it drags for months, but today you can get your refund within less than 1 week. I mean, it's evidences are there to prove that what I'm saying is not. I'm not hyping Federal Mortgage Bank. I'm not a hype person. Within a week, but it's important to point out that my 1 week projection is based on, what they call, if you and I enter into agreement or you enter into a covenant, right? That means I have a part to play, you have a part to play. And if we play our parts, everybody will be fine. Now, the whole essence of what we do in National Housing Fund and Federal Mortgage Bank is to give our customers an experience that they will find it difficult to forget. That is why if you look at one of our shared values, or what you call core values, customer centricity remains core in that statement. Now, the journey starts from making sure that for every contributor, whether existing contributor, potential contributor, that there's a proper KYC done for that contributor, or what you may call customer. If we do a proper KYC for that customer, making sure we get the right data around this individual that will make us to know that, for instance, Uche Ihejirika remains Uche Ihejirika as a contributor, a customer to Federal Mortgage Bank. Go up, go down, go left, go right. It remains Uche Ihejirika because we can uniquely identify who is Uche Ihejirika, right? Then whether you call it refund, whether you call it loan benefit or whatever it is, it becomes a smooth, a seamless process. Because if we do that KYC, what that simply means is that for every kobo, every 1 naira, every 2 naira, every 1,000 you put into the fund, that money will be traceable to you. At any point in time, the system, good thing today, will have, a lot of digital systems or applications. The core banking, the internet banking, the USSD, the mobile banking, though those channels are being transformed. But the core banking we have today is fit for the market. Now the internet banking too that is layered on the core banking is equally serving its purpose. So the customers, existing and potential customers, are always strongly encouraged to ensure that proper KYC is done. And once KYC is done, the next thing is to see that every contribution this individual makes syncs with the identity of the individual contributor. So when it gets to the point or time of refund, it's system thing. It's not manual. Nobody's carrying paper from one point to another point anymore. It's just to press the system. What's your account number? We get your account number. What's your contribution? It will show. And the next thing, application for refund is processed. Everything system driven. Signatures are given automatically and money goes into your account. Because part of the biodata we would have gathered from you at the point of enrollment will show that you have a bank account. So that bank account remains valid all through the journey of. But if you have any reason to change any of those biodata you've provided, you do an update. You officially go to a branch, push for an update. Oh, this data has changed about me. And we'll go through the process and ensure that it's properly captured within the system. And refund happens. Even 1 week is too much. 1 week, but just because we just move into this new level of operations. I'm just giving 1 week, but it's fine. Everything is working as it should be. But again, subject to the kind of data, because it's, when you have good data, I'm talking about good data, I'm not talking about any hard data. Decision making becomes fast. Service efficiency, everything becomes, So we emphasize on this. So when we say proper KYC should be done, proper KYC should be done. And now it is the responsibility of the customers. When we say share your BVN with us, the customer should trust us that this is a financial institution.
The Group Head, National Housing Fund Group of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Uche Ihejirika, in a chat with Everyone Deserves a Home news crew. Up next is our special commentary segment. Yemi Daniel is on standby. Over to you, Yemi.
Today's commentary on Everyone Deserves a Home is titled Severing the President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope Agenda for Housing, as being implemented by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, under the able leadership of Mr. Shehu Usman Osidi. It is written by Yemi Daniel. A man without a house can be compared to being nude in a marketplace. He and his family are exposed to security challenges, social vices, and the pressures of the elements. According to researchers, there are 1.6 billion people worldwide living in inadequate conditions, many due to a lack of affordability. In view of the critical value of housing to human existence, the United Nations General Assembly resolved to create the United Nations Human Settlement Program, UN Habitat. The body is mandated by the General Assembly to promote socially and environmentally sustainable towns and cities. This objective also correlates with the 12th point of the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), with hopes to achieve sustainable cities and towns worldwide. Nigeria, as the most populated country in Africa, has a national housing deficit of 14.9 million units in 2025, according to the National Housing Data Technical Committee. This figure is alongside another 15.2 million homes classified as substandard or inadequate. over the decades, past administrations have made efforts to address the situation, with the deficit still widening. However, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on assuming office in 2023, launched the Renewed Hope agenda covering all sectors including housing. The agenda on housing, driven by Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and the various departments and agencies under it, aims to bridge the 14 million unit housing deficit by delivering at least 50,000 plus affordable quality housing units annually under the first phase. But a critical arrowhead agency for implementing the policy is the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The bank, under the watchful leadership of the Managing Director and Chief Executive, Mr. Shehu Usman Osidi, has adopted critical measures to ensure the federal government's aim of providing mass housing is fully achieved. For instance, the bank continues to consolidate on its 6% interest rate NHF loan and has over the years enhanced its online processes. Also keenly adopted is a strategy for implementation of the Renewed Hope cities and estates. The initiative aims to build in all 36 states of the Federation plus the FCT projects such as city estates, which are large integrated development estates that will provide thousands of homes for Nigerians. Phase 1 includes 7 Renewed Hope cities with 500 to 1,000 units each in 6 geopolitical zones and 250 units Renewed Hope estates in other states of the Federation. To achieve these feats, the government initiated the construction of access roads to support the new housing estates. The FMBN under Mr. Shehu Usman Osidi hopes to also focus on affordability for low to middle income earners, civil servants and the urban poor. The initiative offers options such as outright purchase, FMBN non-interest, rent-to-own and mortgage plans. As of late 2025, construction had been underway in several states, including Oyo, Delta and Kaduna. But critical is the renewed hope and excitement of Nigerians who are eager to see their homes standing. Indeed, the Nigerian housing deficit will only drop further as the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria FMBN under Mr. Shehu Usman Osidi remains focused, steadfast and fixed on its mandate to provide housing for all Nigerians.
Thank you, Yemi. And it is on this note that we draw the curtains on today's edition of Everyone Deserves a Home Radio broadcast, powered by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. For questions or enquiries, send an email to info@fmbn.gov.ng. And on behalf of the executive producer, Mr. Shehu Usman Osidi, Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, the Group Head, Corporate Communications Group, and the entire Everyone Deserves a Home production team, I am Jomiah Amedu, wishing you a restful evening. Until I come your way again, enjoy your weekend.